Oh, how's it going for Ronald Easter? Same old, being a bartender who couldn't bartend his way out of a hotel minibar. I'm just a quirky bastard that wanted to be good at drinking, so I got addicted to smoking. Now I have to choke on a cigar to get the shakes to stop. Steadiness re-emerged. With a clear head, I studied the bottle physics before me. Throwing a bottle at the floor brings you a friendly bounce. To smash glass, you must use the wall. This revelation had me tossing out all my closet beers, destroying my liquor stash like a drunk kid dodging parental rehab. I expanded on my childish miscalculations by leaving the shattered glass right out in the open. Breaking a beer in a bar took a lot of courage. For being such a plucky fella, I was rewarded a bottle in a brown paper bag. Hooch. Moonshine made by the homeless, consumed by the homeless, and those one sip away from becoming the homeless. Me, however, I gulped a few swigs while sticking to my work of smashing inventory. A routine day in the glass killing fields until I misfired a bottle and set off the fire alarm. Then the hooch really started to kick in. It doesn't straight up turn you homeless. What it did for me was manifest the greenest, most naked zombie space will allow. Revealed to be another state of mind falsely placed by a substance in an effort to blend with the other layers that aren't as deep as one might think. Same goes for facially cream pieing a stranger. It's not deep. Don't take it personal. I wanted to splat what was in my hand at the nearest face. The fortunate recipient happened to know me, although I didn't even know myself. This man with pie on his face claims he's heard stories about me, Ronald Easter. I turned away dramatically, and with my back to him, I explained that those stories were fake. This did not seem to affect him. This person basically just learned that Santa isn't responsible for the outcome of wrestling matches, and his only concern is milky vodka. While struggling with the complexities of adding cream to a Black Russian, a space carp floated in and began chomping the guy who ordered the drink. To defend my bar, I pulled out the double barrel, but my two-shot turn did nothing. Thankfully, I was behind a counter that seemed sturdy enough for the fish to not hover over. Cowering behind my workplace, I watched the chef handle the ravenous uncooked food problem. After a sink full of dishes and the sobering of a nation, I finally made that White Russian. And wouldn't you know it, the space carp attack victim lived to drink his drink. With no new patrons coming in, I drank more bum wine and stepped away from the bar. Got hammered enough to acquire the motor skills to go evaluate the dorm's rodent infestation. Equipped with a shotgun and more beanbags than a cornhole pro, I searched the dorm rooms for mice mania. During the hunt, I puked like I saw a rat orgy, but alas, no luck. Right when I was about to leave, I ran into a burly rat man getting followed by a cheese wedge. The Rat King brought the cheese back to his disciples in his locker room lair. I caught a glimpse of his army when one of his soldiers started biting my ass off the premises. Eking away from the mouse, I fired one of my shots. The other usually uninterrupted shot had been interrupted by vomiting. My life had been put on pause because of throw-up while I continued to get nipped at by a rat. Once I could move again, I stumbled out of the slum. That one rat who wanted me dead chased me throughout the halls, nibbling at me and deflecting my inaccurate shooting. Eventually I crushed his little mouse skull with a beanbag. Sorry if it was anyone's pet. Maybe clean your room next time. Shit was so dirty everyone on the station had to leave. The escape shuttle was part national park. In this region, animals duked it out for supremacy, including that bear pretending to be a rat god. Lacking his tribe, he still managed to claw many monkeys into submission. On to another shift where I don't know what's to blame. Seeing all that violence or the amount of downtime a bartender usually receives, but I made a fighting rectangle that attracted no gladiator edgelord since some stoner was smoking weed with the station's oxygen supply and hotboxing everybody, providing involuntary flashing colors. If the high runs out, the disco ball is there to back it up. Left the standing alone party early due to my liver bitching out on me. A kind surgeon acted as my designated driver. He let me sleep on his operating table. Awake, organs intact, I accepted a duel against the chef. My opening attack was launching 2 whiskey bottles at him. One hit while the other missed. My opponent then had me on the ropes with the cheap table shove. Responded by returning the same order twice to his kitchen. Had to let the chef taste what he was trying to cook. I thought this dish was already finished, but I had to go back to the prepping stage where I beat the shit out of the meat until it plays dead like a smart lobster. The chef, barely alive, gasping for air, crawled out of the pit as this fly engineer jumped in. He stormed in, hyping himself up, doing his own commentary, only to start a fight with an injured man and get carved up by a broken bottle. Combat ended, and I chose to take the chef to medbay over the engineer. Arrived at the medical spa, and my personal masseuse thought I was the one in need of self-care provided by somebody else, though it was the chef who was probably dead and required a makeover. The medicine gentleman realized this and picked up the chef, while I muttered drunken gibberish that means something but not enough to matter. That goes for everything I say. I'm a fucking mess, bouncing around from the med bay to the bar. Back in the old neighborhood again, a guy walked up on me and threatened me by saying, "What up?" This escalated to him pistol whipping and shooting me in the head at point blank range. As this went down, the chef told me it was good to see me alive. That prick. Post-surgery once more, my family care provider gave me a cyborg liver and lungs, so I can keep trying to play Bender when he switched to a human body. On the emergency shuttle now, drinking and stuffing my face, there wouldn't be enough time to do the necessary damage that needs to be done to my body. Did at least get blurry vision drunk. Found one of those mediocre blue stun guns on the floor and fired it off into the cockpit. Blame it on the alcohol, or maybe the mind control that happened after the fact. Either way, it's into the round innocent mischief, which becomes the beginning of the round criminal mischief if left unchecked. It totally led to my decision of getting randomly selected to be a vampire, a bloodsucker in particular. First, I planned on drowning the bar mascot with booze and extracting the blood out of his realistic looking monkey costume. The biting and screeching display by the little guy reminded me he's a real chimp. His mask had been lifted off and I wanted to punch the face behind it. As always, the chef was there to assist a bartender in need. If you're fighting against anything that can be converted into calories, a chef will likely appear to get a piece of that ass. Well, anyways, I could see people through walls. Got a better look at the janitor by peering my entire body through his person-sized mail slot. Had to take breaks from people watching when the solar flares hit. The vampire guidebook recommends building a wooden coffin, since hiding in a locker compared to resting in a coffin is the same as living in a tent versus having a house. Regardless, all I had was the locker, where I suffered mild burns from the slits of light. Stalking resumed behind the janitor's flaps. It ceased when he saw right through my attempt at stealth. I popped out, said something stupid, and beanbagged the janitor. Managed to restrain him, still he got to say on his radio that the bartender attacked him before I ripped off his headset and took him to my blood draining spot. Here, I hit him with that bare knuckle combat intent to make him yell his last words. "Fuck you, Z-cum!" The corpse hiding aftermath had me indecisively browsing lockers. Soon as I had the crime tucked away, a cop appeared to snoop around. Moments later, the captain was there hassling me along with security posted up around back. Both of them were talking about a body. At that point, I felt the law sandwiching me into imprisonment, causing me to fly out of there like meatballs flung from a sub. It's more of a devastating roll and fall. Instead of landing out on an open, greasy floor, I was living in lockers again. Thirsty for blood, I exposed myself to prowl for donors. A security dick heard me making that lame vampire blood donation joke and rightfully arrested me. It's over. I was taken to permabrig for my vamp lifestyle. So is this next round a prequel, or did I get pardoned? Who really gives a shit? Anyone keeping score? I'm going with alternate timelines since I just do the same activities. I built a hitbox, threw bottles, and bothered my monkey pal. We fought on fire. Our battle poured out into the street and all my clothes burnt off, except my faithful armored vest. The flames retreated, allowing stomping unrelated to extinguishing to commence. Suddenly, something worthwhile actually happened. A message on my PDA claimed that I'm a syndicate sleeper agent. I thought it was a scam to make common fools believe they're terrorists, until I saw red clouds and nuke operatives lathered in gear. Wanting to join my mid-round assigned brothers, I placed an order. Let me get the usual, energy sword, pistol, and ammo. I remained on the sidelines debating on how and when to jump in. This one syndicate agent was doing okay. Too shy to talk, I kept my distance while watching an outgoing robot beg to be killed by the Cindy. Pondering ways to communicate with my allies, I take a look at the syndicate digital pamphlet. The second I do this, I'm gunned down in a drive-by. No chance to explain to them that we are cool. I probably would have been dead, decapitated, weight anyways.